Samantha Hayes trusted Olivia Carter more than anyone in the world, but that trust would become deadly. Behind the smiles and late-night study sessions, Olivia's jealousy festered into something far more sinister, something that would end Samantha's life forever. This is the shocking story of a best friend turned killer. Samantha Hayes had always been the kind of person people admired without really understanding why. She was bright, diligent, and disciplined, qualities that had earned her respect in her small town long before she set foot in the prestigious university where she pursued pharmacy. From the moment she walked into her first lecture hall, it was clear that she was destined for success. Her professors spoke highly of her work ethic, praising the precision and care she applied to every experiment. Her classmates, while sometimes envious of her accomplishments, often sought her guidance, knowing that she had a rare ability to explain complex concepts in simple, understandable ways. Samantha's life seemed perfect to anyone observing from the outside, a carefully balanced equation of academic excellence, supportive friends, and a loving family who never missed a chance to celebrate her achievements. Among the people closest to Samantha was Olivia Carter, her best friend since high school. On the surface, their friendship appeared inseparable. They shared secrets, dreams, and countless hours of studying together, laughing over inside jokes and supporting one another through the stress of exams. Samantha trusted Olivia completely, confiding in her about ambitions, fears, and personal struggles. To the casual observer, Olivia seemed genuinely happy for Samantha's success, always present at events, cheering her on and celebrating milestones. Yet beneath the laughter and shared smiles, there was a quietly simmering tension that no one outside their circle could see. Olivia was ambitious, intelligent, and driven, yet she carried a deep, unspoken envy of Samantha. While Samantha seemed to flow effortlessly through challenges, Olivia often struggled to feel a sense of accomplishment. Every scholarship Samantha earned, every recognition she received, seemed to amplify Olivia's insecurities. She told herself that she was supportive, that she wished the best for her friend, but inside, resentment quietly took root. Over time, that envy transformed into something darker, a dangerous fixation on not just keeping pace with Samantha but controlling the narrative of their friendship. The tension was subtle at first, a cold glance here, a slightly forced compliment there, but it was enough to disturb the natural rhythm of their relationship. Samantha, unaware of the brewing storm, continued to confide in Olivia, trusting her more than anyone else in the world. When she received news of a prestigious internship, Olivia's outward excitement was convincing, yet beneath it was a carefully concealed mixture of jealousy, fear, and a growing obsession. Little did Samantha know that her best friend, the person she trusted most, had begun to plot a course that would forever change both of their lives. What appeared to be ordinary friendship was evolving into something far more sinister, a quiet, calculated darkness lurking just behind the mask of loyalty. Olivia's presence in Samantha's life became increasingly frequent, her visits framed as casual study sessions or late-night project help. Samantha, unaware of the growing tension beneath the surface, welcomed her best friend into every corner of her daily routine. They shared meals, lab notes, and even late-night snacks while reviewing pharmacology concepts. Olivia watched Samantha closely, memorizing her habits, her preferences, and the small routines that defined her life. Every detail was fuel for a plan that Samantha could never have imagined. What seemed like ordinary friendship was, in reality, a calculated strategy. Samantha's curiosity had recently led her to explore new study aids, supplements that promised improved focus and mental clarity. She had read about them online, fascinated by their potential, and decided to experiment. Olivia's interest appeared casual at first, almost incidental, but in truth, she had already begun researching the substances, learning how they interacted and which compounds could be manipulated without immediate detection. She moved with caution, carefully ensuring that Samantha never suspected her motives. Every suggestion, every recommendation was measured, designed to appear helpful while silently steering events toward a deadly outcome. The subtlety of Olivia's manipulation was chilling. She inserted herself into Samantha's life with the precision of someone setting a clockwork trap. She knew exactly when Samantha would be alone, when she would prepare her supplements, and when she would trust Olivia's presence. Even the smallest acts, pouring a drink, adjusting a study setup, or offering to help organize lab notes, became opportunities to gain control. Olivia's jealousy had matured into a meticulous obsession. She wasn't acting on impulse. She was orchestrating a plan that relied on patience, timing, and the absolute trust Samantha had placed in her. While Samantha continued her studies, oblivious to the danger, Olivia's internal world was consumed by calculation. Every success Samantha achieved fueled a darker determination within her best friend. The envy that had once been quiet now demanded action, and the only way Olivia could feel a sense of control was to insert herself into the very substance of Samantha's daily life. By the time Samantha took the study supplement, she would be following a routine that seemed familiar, safe, and even encouraged by her closest companion. The line between friendship and betrayal had blurred, and Olivia's careful plotting had reached a point where the final step could be taken without raising suspicion. In the quiet hours of the night, as Samantha prepared to test the supplement, Olivia lingered just long enough to ensure her plan was set into motion. It was a moment of terrifying subtlety, the kind that left no evidence of malice in plain sight, only the illusion of normalcy. Samantha had no reason to suspect that the friend she trusted most would soon become the architect of her demise, a betrayal so carefully executed that it would leave shockwaves far beyond the walls of their shared lives. The night Samantha decided to take the new study supplement seemed like any other. Her apartment was quiet, the glow of her desk lamp casting long shadows across textbooks and notes sprawled on the table. She carefully measured the powdered mix, trusting the instructions she had read online, and followed her usual routine, unaware that the supplement she believed would sharpen her focus had already been compromised. Olivia had ensured that every step appeared normal, leaving no trace that could arouse suspicion. It was the perfect storm of trust and deception, a scenario designed with chilling precision. Hours passed, and Samantha felt a subtle unease, a faint dizziness that she initially dismissed as fatigue. But the feeling intensified rapidly. Her heart raced, her vision blurred, and a wave of nausea hit her with a force she had never experienced before. She stumbled toward her bedroom, clutching at her chest, trying to steady herself. Each passing moment made it clear that something was terribly wrong. Panic rose, but she was alone, and by the time she tried to call for help, her strength failed her. The apartment, once filled with the familiar comfort of study sessions and shared laughter, became a silent witness to a tragedy no one could have predicted. Paramedics arrived within minutes of an emergency call, but the delay, compounded by the potency of the toxin, left them powerless. Samantha's body had already succumbed to the poison, and despite their best efforts, she could not be revived. News of her death spread like wildfire, shocking friends, classmates, and family alike. She had been young, healthy, and vibrant, a future pharmacist with limitless potential. The initial reports suggested accidental poisoning or a rare reaction to the supplement, and no one immediately suspected foul play. Grief-stricken peers mourned, holding vigils and sharing memories of a life tragically cut short. Yet small inconsistencies began to emerge. Investigators noted the absence of forced entry, the clean state of the apartment, and the precise timing of Samantha's last activities. There were subtle discrepancies in visitor logs and messages that hinted at a presence in her life that might not have been entirely benign. Olivia, outwardly devastated, played the part of the sorrowful best friend perfectly. She comforted Samantha's family, expressed heartbreak publicly, and maintained a convincing facade. The community believed her grief was genuine, unaware that behind her eyes lay a carefully hidden satisfaction, the culmination of weeks of planning and obsession. What initially seemed like an accident was slowly evolving into a case of deliberate deception. Every detail was scrutinized by detectives who sensed that Samantha's death, while appearing ordinary, carried the fingerprints of someone she had trusted implicitly. The realization that betrayal could hide behind a familiar smile sent ripples of fear and disbelief through those closest to her. And as investigators dug deeper, the shocking truth began to take shape. The person Samantha had relied on the most, the friend she had confided in completely, might have been the one responsible for extinguishing her life. Detectives assigned to Samantha's case quickly realized that her death was not as straightforward as it appeared. The toxicology report revealed the presence of a rare chemical compound in the study supplement, one that could only have been introduced deliberately. There were no signs of accidental contamination, no evidence that Samantha had obtained the substance from anywhere other than her own supplies. Investigators began retracing her last days, mapping her routines and the people closest to her. The deeper they dug, the clearer it became that the person most likely to have access and opportunity was someone in Samantha's inner circle. Olivia's name inevitably surfaced. She had been present almost constantly in Samantha's life, accompanying her to the library, the lab, and even late-night study sessions in the apartment. Her proximity made her a natural suspect, yet her carefully maintained facade of grief initially obscured any suspicions. Surveillance footage from the building, combined with timestamps of lab entries, placed Olivia alone with Samantha multiple times in the days leading up to her death. On paper, each interaction appeared innocent, but investigators noticed subtle patterns, times when Olivia's presence coincided with moments critical to Samantha's routine, including when the supplement had been prepared and consumed. Forensic specialists analyzed the contents of Samantha's study aid and confirmed the presence of a chemical agent capable of inducing severe physiological reactions without immediate detection. The level of precision suggested premeditation, knowledge of toxicology, and access to the materials needed to execute the plan. It was chilling to realize that someone so close to Samantha had the technical understanding and meticulous patience to carry out such a calculated act. Every seemingly benign visit, every shared cup of coffee, and every moment of help had been part of a larger strategy to manipulate events, and it had gone unnoticed until now. Detectives began piecing together Olivia's psychological profile, uncovering signs of deep-seated jealousy and obsession that had gone unrecognized by those around her. She had studied toxicology details obsessively, asking questions about chemical reactions and the effects of various substances, all under the guise of academic curiosity. Her digital footprint and research history painted a picture of someone planning methodically, combining knowledge with envy to create a deadly outcome. What stunned investigators most was the coldness of the plan, the way Olivia had masked every action as support, ensuring that suspicion would never naturally fall on her. The revelation shocked the community. Friends and family struggled to reconcile the image of a devoted best friend with the reality of premeditated murder. How could someone so trusted, someone who had shared years of secrets and dreams, turn into the very person capable of such calculated betrayal? The evidence was undeniable, and the narrative that had begun as an accidental death was now being rewritten as a chilling story of obsession, envy, and meticulously executed betrayal that would haunt everyone involved for years to come. Olivia's arrest sent shockwaves through the university and the wider community. The person everyone had trusted, the friend who had laughed alongside Samantha, shared late-night study sessions, and offered support through stressful exams, was now facing charges of first-degree murder. During the investigation, law enforcement compiled a mountain of evidence, digital records showing Olivia's extensive research into toxic compounds, timestamps placing her alone with Samantha in critical moments, and forensic analysis confirming the deliberate contamination of the supplement. Every detail pointed to a calculated, premeditated act, stripping away any notion that Samantha's death had been an accident. When the trial began, it captivated the public. Prosecutors painted a chilling picture of envy and obsession that had festered beneath Olivia's outwardly cheerful demeanor. They described how a seemingly innocent friendship had been twisted into a trap, detailing the careful planning, the subtle manipulations, and the deliberate exploitation of Samantha's trust. The courtroom was tense, the air thick with disbelief as friends and family listened to the systematic breakdown of how Olivia had executed her plan. Each revelation deepened the sense of betrayal, emphasizing the stark contrast between the image of the devoted best friend and the reality of a calculated killer. Samantha's family struggled to process the truth. They had mourned her as a victim of a tragic accident, only to realize that the danger had come from the person they had welcomed into their lives without hesitation. Grief turned into anger, then into a desperate need for justice. Friends and classmates who had once admired the closeness of Samantha and Olivia found themselves questioning every shared moment, every memory now tainted with suspicion. The community at large grappled with the unsettling notion that someone capable of such precise manipulation could hide behind a mask of friendship for so long. Throughout the trial, Olivia maintained a calm, almost unnerving composure. Her demeanor only added to the tension in the courtroom, as though she was playing a part while the world unraveled around her. Witness testimony, digital evidence, and forensic findings left no room for doubt, and the jury reached a unanimous verdict: guilty. Olivia's sentence was severe, reflecting the premeditated and intimate nature of her crime. The aftermath of the case lingered long after the courtroom emptied. Samantha's life, once filled with promise and ambition, became a symbol of brilliance cut short, while Olivia's betrayal served as a stark warning of how envy, obsession, and hidden darkness can fester behind a familiar face. The story reverberated beyond the immediate circle of those involved, sparking conversations about trust, mental health, and the devastating consequences of unchecked jealousy. Samantha's memory remained, a reminder of a life that could have been, and a cautionary tale of how someone's closest friend could become their deadliest enemy.